all been hungry at one point in time. So one time I was super hungry, and first off, hold on, let me start over. So we've all been hungry, and my quote is, for too much rest itself becomes a pain. And I'm going to talk about how you start off your day and you, for some reason or another, you skip breakfast and you go throughout your day, rest, hungry, and you choose for some stupid reason to go through a drive-thru. I'm going to tell you two incidents, the Del Taco incident and the McDonald's incident. So first off, I skipped breakfast, went to school, had dance class, skipped lunch, went on a hike with my friend, and got home thinking, yeah, like Dad's making spaghetti tonight, like it's gonna be awesome. I get home and he's like, Vanessa, you gotta go out, you gotta pick something up to eat. I'm like, okay, whatever, like you're paying, so it's good. He's like, go get Del Taco. And I'm like, okay, like cool, like I'm always down for Del Taco. So I'm so hungry that I'm too lazy to go into the restaurant. So I decide, like, oh, there's only like 2 cars in line to go. And the guy in front of me orders 24 tacos. And it's like, really? Like, he's the one right in front of me, and it takes forever. And the person, he must have been new because he looked really confused, and something happened with the kitchen, and it was just a terrible situation. And I was like, I saw 5 people walk in and out at that time, and I was stuck because there was somebody behind me, and it was like, I can't get out, I just want my food. And enough said, it took me like 45 minutes to get home. By the time I got there, like, my mom was pissed. She was like, where were you? Like, where did you stop? I'm like, I didn't stop anywhere. I was stuck in the Del Taco line, and it was just terrible. And McDonald's. So I decided to be a good daughter and go with my mom shopping, grocery shopping, and she's like the slowest shopper in the world. And I was already hungry, but I was like, I'm gonna be patient. Like, she told me we're gonna go out to lunch, and like, it's gonna be good. And she's like, let's go to McDonald's. I'm like, okay, fine, like it's fast food, whatever. She's like, go through the drive-thru. I'm like, no, Mom, it's gonna be faster if we go inside. She's like, just go through the drive-thru. And it's a really long line, and there's like, you hear this noise, and we're like, what the heck is that? And there are these 2 parents in the car in front of us, and they're ordering their food, and it's like, why would you take your parent, like they're practicing teaching their birds how to talk, like at the drive-thru while there's people in line. And it's like, why? Like, why go through the drive-thru? So my quote is, for too much rest itself becomes a pain. So if you're ever hungry because you decided to skip breakfast, please don't go through a drive-thru. It will be so much worse of a pain for you. Thank you.
No, I don't get that.
You don't get it? I forgot to start it. Right?
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I'll try that. Wait, Fiji's mom? What do you
All right, Vanessa, I think you
My intro was terrible.
Yeah, I think you set yourself up a little bit for some problems with the intro. You
Yeah.
needed to, I think you had a good idea that you were going to go with, and then you balked at it at one point, and it just, you never kind of come back and get into the swing of things and have the pacing fit you. It always feels a little bit like you are moving with the tide, you know, and it's just like it's carrying you along instead of you're controlling what's going on. It's just, you are just, yeah, going wherever it's headed. And as a result, I think that's a little problematic. It's an interesting interpretation of the quote. I'm not exactly sure how you get there. I'm still trying to figure that out. But I don't want to be too hung up on that because you had a couple of stories that were engaging and there's fun elements to them. I do think that they need to be connected back to a theme some way. And basically your theme seems to be don't go through the drive-through. And that wasn't really set up as your purpose statement at the beginning. It seemed a little strange. And that's kind of a superficial way of looking at the topic. It's okay, but I think that there are a lot of things that you could make it more interesting with, make it more meaningful to do. But the examples, like I said, they fit what you're talking about there. So to me, the thing that seems to be happening is that the two stories are driving what you're talking about. You've got these two stories in your head. That's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about those two stories, and you're having trouble figuring out how do these two stories fit into what I'm supposed to be doing here. And it becomes really obvious that that's what's going on when you make the transition to the second story, because you barely finish the first story, and it's like your transition is basically McDonald's. You know, you basically just say the name of the other place, and it's like, okay, what about it? You know, there ought to be something that connects those two, and it just felt very abrupt there. Now, on the delivery, you do some things really nicely, and then there's some things that you got to watch out for. Your voice is animated, that part's good. Your facial expressions are very lively and engaged, that part's good. But you don't always look like you're talking to us, you look like you're talking around us, in front of us. There's a phrase that I think I haven't used yet that I should probably use here. This is a speech where you're not really talking to the audience, you're talking in front of the audience. You are engaged, you're talking out loud, but it never feels like you're connecting with us. It's just like, I'm telling the story here and I'm doing this, and you know, and you're lively, and you kind of scan us once in a while, but you're not really connecting with us, even though it's a story that ought to be something that everybody can relate to. And there are a couple of spots where people do. They all laugh and understand the point that you're making. The guy in front of you getting 24 tacos, and what the hell are the people doing with parrots in their cars? I can see that people are reacting to those kinds of things. That makes sense. But it's almost as if you were telling the story. You ever see somebody tell a joke where they have to kind of think about the story that they're telling, and they're telling the joke, and they're not really looking at you while they're telling the joke? That's kind of the way it goes. You need to be more engaging. But your voice, like I said, and your facial expressions are animated, so there's a lot of stuff that's working, but when you watch it back, you're going to see stuff that you know is not working, and I think you'll be able to pick that out. By the way, I hope everybody